Did you know that the way you communicate with your patients actually has an impact on your own mental health and your own well-being as well? This is something that I experienced anecdotally myself years ago when I first discovered what being an actually patient-centered practitioner was. Things like motivational interviewing, person-centered care, going above and beyond the whole, just being nice, which is what me and most practitioners, certainly thought it was there. And I noticed that practice went from being something that, was okay, I was enjoying, but if I'm honest, I wasn't quite as fired up about. And when I started practicing this way, I started getting much more enjoyment out of practice, like seeing the same cases and the same patients, but it became much more fulfilling. And it really brought the spark back. And as I started to teach other practitioners this and eventually started patient-centered training, started coaching more and more, I would hear the same thing from other people. I realized this wasn't just me. I never forget one of my clients actually said, I've fallen back in love with chiropractic again. This is somebody who teaches other practitioners themselves, has been doing it longer than I have, has been in practice a fair bit longer than I have as well. But like me, they'd started to kind of lose the spark, lose the passion a little bit. And I'm mindful of this. I'm thinking about this now because I just today finished recording a brand new version of my Social Styles course. It'll be out a little bit later in the year. It's actually going to be through a friend's platform because they're doing some cool stuff. But that's not for now. I'll tell you about that later. The reason I'm doing this though is because one of the things I shared in that course is that when you put this stuff into practice, it's not just about getting better results for your patients. Yes, they will feel greater trust with you. That'll improve their outcomes. That'll improve their compliance, their motivation. You'll help behavior change, all those lovely things. But it actually makes practice more rewarding and more enjoyable for you. Even with the same cases and even with the same types of people coming in, it gets much more fulfilling. And I learned why this was a while ago, what was actually happening at the neurological level. And I learned this from a course the RCC's pain faculty put on, all about psychosocial barriers and how to build better connection and rapport with patients, how to handle patients where, the psychology was getting in the way of their recovery. And Pat Partington, who's contributed a lot to this program, he's a PhD psychologist, for those of you who don't know, used to teach at AECC. He shared what was actually going on here. And he said, because when you start to practice in this way, one of the things you do is you shift from problem-focused thinking to solution-focused thinking, And what that does is it actually changes the way, instead of thinking about, there's problems, we've got to try and solve that. That goes from like a threat perspective. That triggers your fight or flight system as a practitioner a little bit. When you shift to solution-focused thinking, it starts to create motivation. And it does that by releasing dopamine because you start looking forward to the solutions that's going to happen for the patient. So it actually releases dopamine within your brain, and that creates a greater sense of purpose and progress and meaning. So if you find that practice just isn't that fulfilling, if you find it's a little bit of a drain, if you're honest with yourself, maybe you've lost the spark a little bit. Don't worry, I was there too. Many, many practitioners go through that. But I would suggest to you, maybe have a look at the way you're approaching patients, the way you're approaching your communication. This doesn't mean you have to go and do a communication course, but I would think about, are you focusing on the problems or are you focusing on the solutions? Because if you can make that leap and start using solution-focused thinking, not only is it going to better motivate your patients and get better results, but it's also going to improve your mental health. It's going to make practice more enjoyable, more fun. And that has knock-on effects for you, your family, your loved ones, back into the practice for your patients as well. You'll be a better colleague to work with, a better practitioner to work with for your patients too. So I thought I'd share that with you because I thought it was really cool that there's some actual neurology going on here. This isn't just my own biased opinion because this is what I happen to love. It's actually out there and it's making this real big effect for people. So thought I'd share that with you. One last thing, if you're a clinic owner, if you haven't seen recently, myself and Rosie Piercy, a friend of mine, who's a business coach, we've put together this little offer called The Hub. This is something for practice owners who want more support, both in training their associates and in running their practice, just making it run more smoothly. It's not a great big coaching program. It's not one-to-one coaching. There's a big investment, lots of money, lots of time. This is really just about sharing some simple, quick wins, things that you can put in practice. And it's about doing it in a way that you can be as anonymous as you want. You don't have to be jumping on live calls or anything like that. Just to really give you that little gradual extra incremental gains that make practice much smoother in the long term. If you sign up by tomorrow night, so by midnight on Friday, then we are offering half price off we're offering the first month for you at half the price there, sorry. The full month, it's only £47 at the full price a month. We priced it so it's only costing you one treatment a month because we wanted this to be accessible. I'll put the link in below this video, but if you go to patientcentered.co.uk/hub-50-off, then you can get that offer. But it is going away in a couple of days' time. So just make sure you sign up before midnight on Friday there. For the rest of you, hope you found that useful. I'm really enjoying being back to video. It means I get to show off things like these snazzy new polo shirts my wife got me. So I can't promise it'll be a fancy outfit each time. There may be some more scrubs again. But otherwise, hope you're all keeping well, and I'll see you soon for another video. Take care, everyone.